Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular council meeting for March 21st, 2023. There is a amendment to the agenda. So number 4 is going to be the CAO report. And number 5 will be mill rate discussion, taxes. And so forth.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
We'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Hanchar. Thank you, Councillor Paquette. Questions? All in favor? Carried. Adopt the minutes from the committee of the whole meeting of March 7th, 2023.
Make a motion to adopt the minutes from the committee of the whole meeting on March 7th.
I will second.
Thank you, Councillor Slager. Thank you, Burtis. Questions or comments?
Yeah. Some corrections. First, the one part in there where it says Councillor Hanchar was asking about streetlights, but instead it should say she was asking about water and sewer upgrades, whether or not there'd be enough funding to see that through, not streetlights. And it was actually Councillor Slager that was asking about whether or not the streetlights were still going to happen. And other than that, there was aquifer needs a spelling change and lift station, not left station, minor. Did we ever come up with a plan for students using the rec center? I propose that when school is in session, we offer facilities to the children of our community free of charge. And we can still pursue some sort of agreement. We can still pursue some sort of agreement with the Department of Ed if we wish, but for the time being, I don't think that while school is going on, that we shouldn't charge them. Like in the summertime, different story. But as a user agreement, it's just one government paying another government. Anyway, so that reminder, or not a reminder, but I guess this will wait till the question period, but because it's part of the minutes, in addition to May Backer, did we come up with an idea or a plan to support May Backer, and in return they would be accepting all of our pound dogs?
Your worship, it's something that I'm
Your CAO?
dealing with as that, and we're light years away from there.
Gotcha. That's it for now.
Thank you, Councillor Slager.
Good, thank you.
Councillor Hanchar.
No, thanks.
All in favor? Carried.
So your worship, for the payables, you will see that there's also a visa statement. The dollar amount of the visa statement was in last meeting's payables. We just forgot to attach them. So this is here for your record. We've already approved that spending. That's in the visa statement.
Thank you.
All right. So motion to pay the open payables in the amount of $484,683.32.
I'll make a motion to pay the open payables.
I will second.
Thank you, Councillor Hanchar. Councillor Burtis. Any questions?
I just got one. It's at the very top. It's a bunch of zeros, but it goes 1037. Or not 1037, sorry, 1036.
That is the new projection, one of the payments from the new projection system for the Northern Center.
And is that the same as Spitz is the same thing?
Spitz, that is Spitz.
No, sir, he was asking about the one,
He said 3.8.
it's the 3.6.
1036.
Oh.
It's W2C custom trade management.
Sorry.
Sorry, that's my,
No.
my W2. Oh, I know that. Bear with me. I got it here. No, that one, it's not. It's W.
Always with the tough questions. eh?
Well, or was it? Just the weird, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different ones.
But you said this first one was the Northern Lights
That
Center.
is 31,000.
That was one of my questions.
It's $31,013.37.
Well, that, sorry, that was in, that was. Caitlin, you don't remember that one offhand?
Is that something you invest your money in?
It's a lot.
Okay, no.
Circle back to account.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
I
fine.
will give you the answer before the meeting's done.
Okay.
On our visa, who do we buy lunch for on February 7th for the amount of $84?
That would be for during union negotiations.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
Lunch all that week.
I'm just wondering if that's customs on the, whatever equipment. Just a quick Google search is telling me that that's, customs,
The 31,000?
yeah. It's a lot, but, yeah,
Because I looked at it.
but didn't you say this is coming from US? The
Oh,
equipment?
that's right. That's what it is. That is the customs
Yeah.
brokerage. That's why it was a goofy name.
Right,
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
there you
That's a
go.
crazy amount.
Well, that's GST.
No, yeah.
GST on.
Yeah, that's really, yeah.
Wow,
No,
okay, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Rome.
Any other questions from payables?
No, thank you.
Ken, what's the total for Arkwright Northern? 61116.
So that would be, that is a progress payment on the change rooms.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, number 4. CAO Lockwood.
Yes, so, as you've seen by the invoices, Monday afternoon, we received all the new projection equipment for the Northern Lights Center. And as of 5 o'clock tonight, the installation team arrived and they're gonna start meeting them on site tomorrow morning at 8, so they can start installation of the new projection system, which will be followed by training next week sometime. I've got a handful of staff that we're training.
Cool.
And so that's rolling ahead. Substantial inspection of the change rooms. It takes place on Thursday. I was there today, did a walkthrough. And so there's a couple of little deficiencies I know that's gonna be there, but at least their projection is that they're gonna be complete for inspection by their consultants on Thursday, which will be a long overdue process, because that project went out for tender. They're closed in tender in June last year.
But we've been looking for, it's been longer than that.
Well, it went out, yeah, so that's when the tender
Yeah.
award was. So that's rolling ahead. We unfortunately discovered today leak above in the library. So we got some drips coming down, so I don't know if they were still out there when you came in, but we have a crew shoveling the library roof right now, and the roofing company will be on site tomorrow.
We'll be there now, but the ladder's still up there, just for you know.
Well, there might not be vehicles out front because the two guys that got on the roof won't have a license.
Okay.
So is that like,
The membrane has a warranty, so it's just a matter of us figuring out.
yeah, and it's coming through the skylight that they covered up kind of thing, or like?
There's no skylights covered up on that side. There's new skylights on that side. But there's no snow up by the skylights, so we're not sure where.
Okay.
And we got through last winter with more snow on the roof
Mhm.
and no leaks, so it's strange because that roof's been complete now for 3 years and we haven't had any issues. So, and it's not like it's coming down in a straight line, it's some in a line going this way and there's some farther.
Corrugated roof thing.
Well, it's, yeah, it's a deck roof, it's the same as this, but then there's decking and membrane and all kinds of stuff, so,
It runs.
but it can get in there and run, so.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's all being looked after, we're chasing that down, and, and something else in there. Now, our staff meets, union and our staff meet tomorrow night for a ratification vote on the collective agreement. So we'll know where we're at and we can go public based on the results of that vote, maybe end of the week, so. It'll be nice to put that to rest, and then if it is ratified, then we can start working on, when Shannon gets back, we'll be working on retro pay and some get the changes in place. Which is nice. We are currently down to one grader. We had issues with the differential on the John Deere grader. Mike Chica's troubleshot it and are trying to locate parts. We were worried that it might be big disaster, but there's a little cooling pump that's in the differential that appears to be the cause of it. So we were worried that we were gonna have to ship the machine out to Port Nelson to John Deere. But so far we've crossed that bridge and we're moving on. So landfill, because Easter's coming up, so landfill will be closed for 4 days. So it'll be closed the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because you get Good Friday and Easter Monday. So it just happens that 2 of those days fall on their regular days off, so that means we have to offset those 4 days. So, and it's lucky it's April. It's not where there's yard cleanup and that kind of stuff going on. So, and the only way around it is that we have to pay a massive amount of overtime to stay open. So it's just financially not prudent to do that at this time. Bylaws, motor went in the bylaw truck. So we're in the process of, we've ordered a cap for Ford truck that Glenn's been driving, and it's gonna become the new bylaw truck. And
That's not one of the new ones.
no, it was one of our 2011s that was supposed to be handed down to Parks and Rec.
Gotcha.
So we're not gonna invest $10,000 into having a motor rebuilt in a 2011, so we'll sell it as is. Put it on the auction site, see if somebody will give us a bag of hockey pucks or something to replace it. Unfortunately, it was one of the ones we were gonna hand down, so. Just means we have to modify it on our feet. That's moving forward. Streets are pretty well all stripped. We had meetings on Monday morning, reviewed the 95% drawings for the scope of work for the in-ground infrastructure. There was, I had Chad, Stan, Glenn and I, just so we had all different avenues of what's going on in town. And so we approved what they had there. There were some minor modifications. The engineering firm is going to have the documents to YG hopefully by Thursday or Friday. YG and infrastructure branch will send it over to Highways and Public Works procurement branch to have the tender documents posted. So we're hoping that it'll be out by Tuesday, Wednesday next week. And then, so it's a month advertised due to the dollar value of the contract. And then we'll go from there. See.
Someone in yes,
Some of it's in YESEB, some isn't.
okay.
Majority of the work on that scope isn't part of the YESEB. Yeah.
Okay.
There will be some part of the process once the Keene, there's gonna be some ditch work and trees removal because they're in the roadway along us.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be some trees moved there, so it has to happen, so that's gonna move ahead as well. And I haven't got an update from Lands Branch, but I do know that the Francis Avenue project is at YESEB, and they've requested a 28-day extension on for their response to it. I don't think there's gonna be any issues because LFN have signed off on that project. And they're really the only ones that ever hold back projects. So.
But if there is positive feedback for that,
Anybody can submit positive and negative feedback on any project to YESUB. Nobody ever submits positive feedback to them, and I think it would be really nice if we could rally the community to get people to, chime in that the work we're looking at having done is important to the community and valuable, right? So hopefully that get things rolling a little better. And yeah, so we're starting to ramp up. I was having talks with some of our students that took the lifeguarding course and trying to get things lined up there. Tiffany, when she gets back, she's back in on Thursday, and Thursday's my first day off. And I'm meeting with her Thursday morning before I leave town. And then she's gonna be advertising the pool position, the rec center reception position, all those jobs that are summer jobs are going out. And the closing for the rec programmer's position is on the 29th. And I know the question will come out, how many applications we got. I honestly don't know because they all get emailed to Tiffany, so I haven't had access to her account. The only, I just know I've had only one phone call asking questions about the position, so it'd be really interesting what comes out of the process. And if there isn't suitable candidates that we think is going to be a good fit for our community, then we will not hire. I'm not about to play that game. So we want somebody that's going to do good things for the community.
Yeah.
So I think that is it. I'll probably think of something, or you council will ask questions in open forum.
sure, sounds good. Thank you, sir. Okay. Number 5 would be
All right.
mill rate discussion. So at the town hall meeting, I brought up the possibility of having a 1%. Well, actually, I think I said it as 1.5, or 2% increase on the mill rate. We did discuss it. This is a decision meeting if we want to set that now, or we can leave it till after, but it should be built into the budget.
I propose that we do a 2% increase to the mill rate. Reason being is we haven't raised it for up to 3 years. Inflation, and usually I'm the one fighting voraciously to keep it down and not raise it at all. We've gone a bunch, like inflation. It is what it is. And everywhere else in the country, they're saying 5 to 8%. And down the road, we may be hit with a situation where we would have to raise it a significant amount. And I'd rather have a slight increase of 2%, 2%, rather than get slapped 1 year with an 8 or 9 or 10.
Where's the bylaw that goes with that? Isn't there a bylaw supposed to go with that?
Yes,
But
and it's not attached.
Yeah, because I need
The only-
something to,
Oh, okay.
Cause I like the raise, I'm all for that, I understand it. I just, thing that I just find, like, I don't know if it's wrong or hard or what, but is, just not being on the agenda, or because there might be more people here today that would want to
Had they
hear this
known.
discussion, if they would known that we were thinking about deciding that. Like, you understand sort of what I mean, like,
I do, to that I would counter those same people that may or may not be there also check their name on a box so you could represent them in these council chambers.
and I believe that, but I just think being for, like, it's just, you don't wanna look sneaky, like you're trying to.
You can wait.
And then, that's the only thing I think, is just, like, I'm for it, for sure, I just.
You can make a motion to table.
your workshop, this cannot be tabled tonight because our budget has to be passed for April 1st.
But we also,
We can pass that without
We
the.
did bring it up at the town hall meeting.
we did bring it up at the
But
time.
nobody knew we were bringing it up at the town hall meeting as well.
It was more budget discussion.
It's just mostly.
Our deadline for the budget
That too,
is
right?
the end of
Like,
March.
that's the thing.
Yes.
I'd also argue that the people that normally show up are already here.
No, I know.
So can we,
How does that work then, Ken?
Yeah, like, it's not that I'm not for it, I think we need to, but I just think
because we
it's
don't,
nice for people to know that's what we're thinking of doing.
Just say we have a timeline, right?
It's
So what
the
can
end of
we
the
do
month.
about?
Bear with me for a second, I'll confirm the submission date.
Yeah.
In the calendar.
Cause like, that's the only thing is I just don't wanna look like we're sneaking something past everybody when maybe somebody wanted to say something about it. That's all. But I think we need to do it. We're. I just don't want to look shady.
I can appreciate where you're coming from with that. At the same time, I can also appreciate the, time sensitivity of the topic. I am and always have been vehemently against the raising of any taxes of any sort. I understand, however, the position that we find ourselves in with the global economy and such. I don't know that I'm in favor of 2% though.
do you have any comments, Councilor Kevin?
I just wanted to hear what Cam had to say in respect to timeline.
So I was wrong, your worship. Municipalities must by bylaw to set tax rates on or before April 15th.
Okay.
And the reason is because that information has to be in the YG because they do the domestic well stuff and any of the other programs and also for the preparing of tax documents.
Okay. So to set the budget, I mean, the O&M budget, we have to set that mill rate before we can
That is
finalize.
correct.
So if we're tabling the tax mill rate, we're tabling the O&M.
I'm comfortable making a decision tonight.
So how do we, if we wanted to let people know, how would we let people know? Like that's, we don't have the town crier out.
It would be the same way we've advertised it for the last 3 years, and it's the same way we've advertised for tonight's meeting and the other meeting. And it's on the website, it's on Facebook, we put the agenda out as well. O&M budget is always has been hand in hand with the tax.
Yeah.
Right.
We did discuss it at the town hall. And, I think that how much more,
Yeah, no, I understand.
But you
I know where you're
put it
coming
on the agenda, but we.
and I can appreciate that because in our own faux pas, we didn't have this advertised on our agenda. So had it been there, it would have been very prudent of us to have it there so people could see that it was going to be discussed and decided on today. Right? But if you guys are comfortable and you think people are aware that that is going to be the case anyway,
I'm comfortable.
okay. So then we should have the discussion of how much it's going to be.
In the future, maybe we can,
Yes, I think they're just, Cam's got no.
No, I know. What?
Less helping out this week.
Yes.
And it was missed by me and take fault for it as much as anybody. So if you want to discuss the rate.
Do you have,
So Slager's in favor of 2%.
So I think, your worship, I think you have a motion on the table.
He said proposed,
Yeah, I propose.
Oh, you proposed.
no more.
I guess, do you have like the exact numbers of just how much we'd say like from 1%, 1.5 to 2?
18 point, it's 18,000.
Just roughly, like just
Yeah, it's on.
The 1% equals about $18,000 and change, we're
Yeah.
about 25,000
We had it here.
to the red.
Yeah.
So we need a 1.5 just to make it to
Yeah.
officially be even.
even.
2% would be like an extra $9,000 cushion on a $5 million budget.
That's not exactly accurate because we're pulling from reserves. So
No, but the $157,000 which you're speaking of or thinking of. That the 157 was getting
look at
transferred.
those two
into the
documents that were sent out.
Yep. Into the capital budget, it's here at the bottom.
Hmm.
Transfer of own funds.
The transfer of own funds, it's kind of a shell game because the way they have to do that now under the new grant and municipal
That
act.
is not the conversation that we.
Each one per
Earlier.
supposed to happen now.
No.
according to what.
Yeah,
we had
yeah,
signed
yeah.
last
Maybe,
time.
Cam, to clarify on this one, because
Yeah, he's pulling it up now.
the way that they have to do it now, it's not like they're actually, because if we were $157,000 shy, we have a 9% increase. Equals 0.
The transfer of home funds for capital top was.
No, that's not what that is. No,
Okay,
sorry.
so a 1% tax increase will brings in $20,624 in revenue. That's going from us, you putting in no money to a 1% increase.
So every increase would be that 20,000.
And I'm just gonna, your worship, I'm gonna confirm the 2% one, just to make sure that it's the same. For some reason, I had it open, but.
And there will be tax assessments too.
That's right.
Could be an increase in the tax assessment.
Yeah, Whitehorse increases it as well, right? And then we're just.
Also, it's YG, right? Your YG home
YG.
tax
Yeah, that's
assessment
why one.
usually goes up. And therefore, there's a bit of.
Okay.
Counselor Hancher, comments? Can
Yes, it's, your worship.
I'm just waiting here, right? Comes from the-
20,000 for 1%.
Yeah.
Okay, 2% I'm due. Okay. And you're comfortable with 2% this year? Comfortable, not saying motion, just that's what you'd like
Okay.
to see.
Okay, I don't like the word comfortable because I hate it, and you know what I mean, I understand, understand the necessity of it. I am saying 1.5.
You're saying how much more?
1.5.
The $30,000.
Well, that would get us covered and have us equal, so I'm also okay with 1.5, because it would get us to where we need to be.
For the O&M.
Like that just brings us even.
And if somebody was uncomfortable and said we were
I
sneaky,
know, I
we
like
could
that.
say, they were at 2 and they went to 1.5, so look. You should thank Lauren, saved you.
I think the number at the meeting that you said was 1.5, actually.
It was,
Mhm.
and they broke it all down for. Okay,
I'm comfortable with that.
So new motion on the table,
need a motion.
make a motion to have a 1.5% increase to the mill rate established for the year 2023.
Thank you, Counselor Snyder.
I will second.
Thank you, Counselor Burtis. Any more questions or comments? All in favor? Carry. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Next on the agenda, the third and final reading of bylaw 2301 being the 2023 O&M budget.
So, your worship, for the record, the one that council has in front of them will be modified to show the 1.5, just so it's clear on the record.
Of the transfer of own funds.
Funds and all the tax accounts above, the GILs,
Yeah.
will all be modified to different numbers, but it will be based on the 1.5%.
Thank you.
So it'll reduce the amount of transfer from our funds.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion for third and final reading of bylaw 2301 for the 2023 O&M budget.
I'll second.
Thank you, Counselor Hancher and Counselor Slater. Any more questions or comments? Favor? Carried. Number 4. 7, third and final reading of bylaw 2302 being the 2023 capital budget.
I'll make a motion to do the third and final reading of bylaw 2023-02, the capital budget for 2023.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Counselor Burtis, thank you, Counselor Hanchar. For the record, that's $2.732,734,500 worth of gas tax money. Okay,
Sorry, what did you, numbers did you say, your worship?
For gas tax is all I read off was 2,734,000.
That's correct.
All in favor? Carried. The hefty bill. All right, and number 8, first and second reading of bylaw 2303 being the fees and charges amendment bylaw.
Make a motion to pass the first and second reading of bylaw 2023-3 being the fees and charges amendment bylaw.
Thank you, Councillor.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councillor Burtis. Questions or comments?
How much is a movie exactly? It doesn't have it here.
Sorry, which?
Well. Oh, it's
We
written, sorry,
increased it to $12 admissions in Northern Light Center, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's, because it was 10.
This is for the GST purposes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was just asking.
Yeah, understood. I'm good.
I had a motion from Councillor Slager.
Dale, second.
Dale's Councillor, okay, all in favor? Thank you, carried. First and second reading of bylaw 2304 being the cemetery bylaw.
I'll make a motion for first and second reading about 2023-04 for the cemetery bylaw.
Thank you,
I
Councillor.
will second.
Thank you, Councillor Slager. Questions or comments?
No.
All in favor? Carried. Number 10 is the recreation grant policy.
Would you like me to speak to this?
Please do, Councillor Slager.
So the recreation grant policy the recreation lotteries committee met and discussed some changes, which you see there, the highlights being changes in the intake and the reporting dates. Just due to the fiscal year changing, we updated the mileage from 20 cents a kilometer to 30 cents a kilometer, which is still, as you know, not government standard of the 61 cents kilometer, but you can also piggyback that with sports Yukon monies to get the 60 cents. So that being said, in addition, the other key point being you can go retroactive 3 months. So if a sport or something, an opportunity for sport arises, such as we saw in the case of the Arctic Winter Games, plus the volleyball team. And I'm sure there's been a couple other instances where it could have applied in the past. These are no longer going to handcuff us for helping our community participate in sport. So given that, we've recommended some changes that will help out the committee in helping others, and we wish that you would help us to make this happen by agreeing to this policy.
Thank you, Councillor Slager. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the recreation grant policy recommendations and changes.
I'll second.
Councillor Slager, Councillor Burtis, any more questions or comments?
No.
All in favor? Carried. Number 11, AYC AGM resolution.
Yes, so unfortunately, I don't have a draft for you tonight. However, I guess what we are looking for today is a motion. Cam, you need that for them to just give me permission? Okay, so looking for a motion, basically just allowing me to write the resolution and see if you have any, if you agree with the topic that we discussed previously, and I can reiterate if you like. But it was surrounding the resolution around EMS services or lack thereof in the communities. And basically a resolution to address inadequate scheduling and lack of coverage and the possibility of the private sector taking over if YG is unable to provide an acceptable level of service. And also there's a few other things that need to be added in there as well. We've had a look at a few sample resolutions from other provinces that are going through similar issues with their EMS and government as well. It seems to be not just a Yukon issue, but it's one that's happening everywhere. So I guess I want to make sure that everyone is good with us moving forward in that direction and see if you have any input right now. I am willing to write it, and then of course I will submit it to you guys probably through email for approval before it's submitted to AYC. And it needs to go, it doesn't just get submitted as is, it will go to the resolutions committee and then it'll be wordsmithed and then refined even more. And then I believe AYC presents it to all board members 21 days before the AGM. That's their bylaw. So, kind of getting down to crunch time, so I am just looking for that.
So you're looking for us to give support to write a resolution surrounding EMS.
Right.
And then, just so we're all clear, and myself too, a resolution is somewhat, is it focused or is it generalized? Like you're looking for specific items in an EMS, or are you looking for a general, because you're giving to, we're hoping to give direction to the Yukon government for, you know, is it 48, or is it 24-hour coverage? Is it?
So I think you could get really specific if you want. It is supposed to be, you know, all encompassing, like, for all the municipalities, so it needs to be not just, you know, Watson Lake issues, like it has to be somewhat broad.
Yeah.
To cover everybody. Fortunately, I think there are many municipalities in the same position as us. We know Dawson is, we know Haines Junction has had some issues, so yeah, I think it can be whatever we can get really micro if we want, or it can be really
So Lauren, once we do the resolution and it goes to AYC, then what happens with it there?
so it gets, you know, refined and made into the format that's acceptable to be submitted to where government will actually acknowledge it. And then it gets submitted to all the board members. And then when we go to the AGM, we vote on it. So we will discuss it in, like, I think at length, actually. You're expected to review all the material beforehand before you go to the meeting. And then we all sit around, you know, in that big circle and we discuss it and then we vote, you know, all in favor or not, whether or not we want to put these resolutions forward to government for action.
So once we submit it, does the AYC kind of like add to them?
Yeah, so it goes to the resolution committee for refinement and wordsmithing and whatnot. So, I think just because we put one forward doesn't mean it's gonna get all the way there. Like it might be decided like at that level that maybe, you know, that's not the direction that the organization wants to go or whatever, but yeah.
How many resolutions do they pick?
I don't know that there is a specific number. I think there's maybe been three, I wouldn't want to say in past years. It depends.
That was last year, wasn't it? 3, right?
Yeah.
Your worship, I've been in meetings where there's been up to 7.
Okay,
So, and then once the resolution is presented, then there can be amendments made or recommended by other communities. So, it's no different than making a motion. There's friendly amendments and stuff back and forth.
So it's very generalized then. We're looking for a motion to, we're looking for support to give Lauren the go ahead to work with AYC on a resolution for, you know. Right?
and then I will, yeah, and like I said, I will present it to you guys before it goes anywhere, just so you guys can read it over and provide any input at that time as well.
So I'll make a motion for Lauren to complete a resolution on our behalf in respect to EMS challenges.
Thank you, Councillor Paquette. Thank you, Councillor Burtis. Any more questions?
And if you think of anything, you know, before I, you know, get it back to you, if you think of anything, just message me. I'm happy to include whatever.
Can we collaborate with EMS staff to sort of help us guide us along with ideas that they have? I just know that like, when it comes to like nursing, we sit there and we have all kinds of ideas about how we can better things, but we're not asked, or we're not consulted.
We're also not getting involved in the O&M of things. That's not the level that we're at. It's like, it's bigger than that. Right? It's, yeah.
We're at the
if
point
we-
where we're not satisfied with the service
we
we're
have to be
getting.
really careful there.
We want to put the pressure on YG at the top level to really reevaluate what the situation is, regardless of what's happening in that.
Rather than just ignoring the problem and hoping it'll go away.
Okay,
Acknowledging the problem. Okay?
Thank you.
Can't wait for that.
Also,
I wasn't being sarcastic.
no, I know.
That it's gonna be.
I,
Come off sarcastic. It wasn't, I think that it's much needed, and that I think that the joke comes when they park an ambulance at the airport thinking that that is acceptable. That's a joke.
well, yeah, and I think, yeah.
So, Did you have something else to say?
I was just gonna say, part of that resolution, I think also needs to be that if that is gonna be the scenario, then the public deserves to know. You know, what the situation is, because.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Communication is a huge piece of it.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be sarcastic there. Okay. Final item on the agenda today is the AYC AGM budget. Administration has informed myself that roughly $10,000 should suffice for a meal and support for the AGM. If we all went to Whitehorse for the AGM, it would roughly be $7,000 or $8,000. So,
I think that I was prepared for it to be that amount from the start, so I don't have any issues with that. If we have it in our budget, it's fine.
so I need a motion to spend $10,000 on the AYC AGM budget.
I'll make a motion to spend $10,000 on the UIC AGM.
Back into it.
Councilor Henshaw. Second, Councilor Paquette. And you feel that should suffice?
Yes, and if there's anything that comes up, we'll bring it forward at another meeting.
Okay.
Because we still have some time.
Okay, that's good. All in favor? Carried. Councilor open forum,
Thanks.
Councilor Flavor.
Seeing as how we're talking about swag for the said AGM, NYC plus Northern Light Center, we haven't had anyone in the office, so it probably hasn't,
I
we
think
haven't dealt with that, have
we're
we?
gonna,
Or looked into it.
talk with Tiffany when she gets back.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
So Northern Light Center, we haven't done anything with it yet because we're still,
Everyone's on holidays, I get it. All right, so for writing a letter to YesAb, I've never actually written a letter to YesAb. How do I tell people? I can't just say, read a letter about Francis Ave, or can I
so
do?
if people log on to the YesAb website.
Yeah.
There's a list of projects that they're reviewing. And you go to the Watson Lake projects in their list.
Yeah.
And click on them. You might have to request an account, so you can log in and make your comments, but that's how you do it.
Okay,
You do. You have to create an account.
Yeah, it's create an account, yeah, because I have the town account.
Yeah.
could that be town writes a letter on because we're kind of like,
Well, no, because it's our project, so we're the proponent.
oh, okay, yeah,
That's
You
something
could.
to put on Facebook, to let people know.
actually.
You do,
I was gonna suggest if we could have a link to YesAb with regards to that. I know that it's.
Okay, Tiffany's back on Thursday and I can discuss that. with
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
It's like to have that link right front and center and we get,
Do,
I don't think, at the end of the day, fingers crossed, I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but it wouldn't hurt to add some
To show
positive
support.
feedback and support for that project, because we all really want that to move forward.
yes. The bathrooms at the rec center, you said you're going through there, was the sauna part of the bathroom rentals?
The saunas, no, they were deemed to be in good shape.
Okay, so they're operational right now?
No, because the rooms are ripped apart, so you
Okay.
can't get in there.
That's all I'm asking. Because I had a bunch of people say to me, what, the saunas aren't open during the winter? I'm like, I'll ask.
Yeah, no, normally they would be, it just because of the rentals, we can't have people in there
Gotcha.
for safety.
All right, and last one, we had, once upon a time, at the town hall, we had the expansion with the different colors and whatnot. I seem to recall a 10-year plan at one time. Now we're down to a 6-year, different colors. There's the purple, yellow. Because what Bellevue at one time was being considered to be on town water.
Yes, but that's, so there's the confusion is the fact that the stuff I showed at the town hall meeting, that's stage 1.
Yeah.
Then there's stage 2, 3, 4 yet.
Okay,
So the others are in different years, and the reason this one got put into whatever it was, 5 colors or whatever, is because of the way the economy's gone and the dollar amount has climbed so ridiculous. So we've had to shift based on funding,
gotcha.
and we'll know more as of the 28th, when the federal budget is tabled as to how much money we can apply for next year. Like for the next stage, right?
Yeah, understood.
But even this stage 1 has grown from, the original budget was $7 million and
21 or something now?
now we're at 17. Yeah.
So,
So it's not just us, we had meetings with the other CAOs and even the stuff I get through FCM and stuff, it's across Canada. Prices have gone ridiculous and nobody's bidding stuff.
Anything else, Councilor Singh?
That's it for me, thank you.
Councilor Hancher?
I just thought of a couple things just while we were talking earlier, and one of the other things that we mentioned, or was mentioned, I can't remember who said it, but at the town hall meeting was about the free load of garbage. And I think you said that we were gonna discuss that today. I mean,
Let's
I'm in
do it.
favor of it. I don't know when we,
May and June typically.
Well, it's usually June. We've always done the month of June.
One free load, one
One
pickup load of
Yeah.
garbage, we made a motion for it.
Yeah.
So if you guys are in favor of something similar to that, we can do that right now
I'll make a motion to approve the one free load of garbage
for the spring.
for the spring.
Per residence.
For
Yeah,
residents.
by property, yeah.
How about, they can drop it off June or July?
Councilor Paquette.
Cause remember, we did it for 1 month before and then like the recycling depot got swamped. And they said if we extended that over 2 months, it would give people more time to organize, get stuff.
I think if council just proves the
One load.
We can make it happen.
then I can make it work
Okay.
based on need.
What's the good one? It had to be in the month of June, you know?
And then I was just thinking, earlier when, Councilor Slager said streetlights, I was wondering if we had heard any update on when that project's set to start,
No,
lights on the Campbell.
I haven't got an update from highways in a while, so I can request one for your next meeting.
That'd be perfect. Thank you. That's all for me.
Thank you,
Go
Councilor.
back to.
Sorry, did we get a full motion?
Yeah, we did. Councilor Hanchar, Councilor Paquette, all in favor, carried.
That's where you're gonna be.
Sorry about that.
Did we miss number 9 on our agenda? First and second reading of the cemetery bylaw?
We did not.
Sorry?
No,
I moved.
I seconded.
Thank you. Just wondered if you missed it.
And you were in favor.
I was in favor. Yeah, I am in favor. I am in favor of it. I just-
Back to that. All right,
Oh.
Councilor Hanchar, what is the questions?
I suppose I do have one more thing. We also were talking about the volunteer appreciation barbecue, and I was wondering if,
Yeah.
anyone when for that, or if you want to talk about it another time.
Well, it's in April, we know that.
Okay,
It's just a matter of, we haven't pinned down a date. I guess it comes down to what council would prefer, and then we'll have to look at other events going on in the community and work around it.
Weekend I'm not
Easter
available.
is the 7th to the 10th.
Yeah.
I suppose I would be in favor of something at the end of the month,
Yeah,
but I'm also indifferent. I'm open.
so if Easter's 8th,
How's the 20th, strike everyone?
no good. Oh, the 20th is a Thursday?
Yeah.
yeah,
For what?
That works for me.
Volunteer appreciation barbecue.
Oh,
right,
Yeah, because the following, I'm not here.
And we're away for that weekend, so.
I don't see why it can't be on a weeknight.
I think it should be weeknight.
Yeah.
Thursday, 20th.
Thursday the 20th?
Okay.
Yep.
We'll bring that forward and we'll start working on plans.
Okay, thank you. And now that's it for me.
20th of June.
April.
6 o'clock or 5 o'clock or probably 10. Okay. Councilor Burtis.
One thing I have is, trail system, that's going all right.
It's on the agenda for your April meeting.
Okay, also, just a thought is, some of the parks around town are a little bit out of shape, and especially the one on Highland, there's like that old horse been there. Your dad probably played on it when he was younger. Like, and just stuff like that, like, and I'm thinking if we're doing the whole trail system to try to include like that Highland Park into the trail system and sort of redo it and make that like a main park for White Lake. And for, seeing that we're building Francis Ave lots, like, we'll need a bigger park system for around that area. And if we're getting funding for that, maybe we can find some funding for parks around.
There's, separate funding for parks, is there not?
There is different pots available,
Yeah.
but it can also fall under the active transportation stuff, I believe. So we can, bring it forward at the April, whatever, committee of the whole meeting. And then also to give council a good idea of ideas of what you would like to see in a park. During the AYC AGM, a company by the name of Blue Imp. Will be here, IMP, will be here as a sponsor. And they will have a trade show booth set up at the AGM. And you can speak to them and look at look at their catalogs and all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
I have a copy of the catalog somewhere. It is mind-boggling.
Well,
Money is the only thing that'll hold you back.
Yeah,
Well, if we can get some
downtown.
funding, I want,
Yeah.
that would be really nice to have.
Yeah, the one downtown Whitehorse, like at the, I don't know what's.
Rotary Shipyard.
Yeah, Shipyard is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you that thing is crazy.
So there is funding available, but it would be a perfect time. April's coming up for that meeting and I think. Well, I know we're supposed to have the next draft from Heidi. I'm not sure if she's gonna be in attendance. I will have Tiffany confirm that, but, and like I say, then for ideas on what you guys would like council would like to see. Then definitely stop at the Blue Inn. During the AGM.
Okay.
You'd be shocked how expensive they are.
I guarantee you are.
Yeah,
I guarantee, but I think it'd be nice to upgrade some of the parks.
agreed.
And I think, if we're putting focus on White Lake sort of, and it's our downtown. To make it like.
there's a rusty old thing in the corner.
Yeah, well, and you can't really see it from the gazebo or anything, right? Like if you cleared it a little bit and made the trail a little bit more pronounced with signage and stuff, saying park, like people might go down there.
Also, your worship, from administration side, I think it would be nice to actually put a play structure into our lot at the Signpost Forest area there, because we have tourists that pull in.
Mhm.
We've got kids that have been sitting in vehicles for hours and hours.
Mhm.
And, you know, let them get out and stretch, and it holds people in town longer. If they can,
Like all over rusty. trucks and stuff. I know, but I like. If you had a park or climbing on a rusty truck.
so it's just an idea, because we're trying to make that sort of a central location.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great idea.
So that's something that would go in with the Heidi Trail stuff as well, because that Signpost Forest Trail system is involved there as well.
That's all I
What
had.
you're saying is there's money for the trails, but not playground in that same funding.
I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay, you're
I'm
not
saying
sure.
there is a.
There may be.
And if not, then we will chase other funding pots.
Okay.
Okay, I thought of something everybody else is doing.
You have anything?
Any other questions, Councilor Cat? Okay, I'm good, so go ahead.
Okay, so, you know, the Northern Light Center proposal, we got the CanNorm money, we have the ECDM money as well. But as, you know, there's so many other options to do renovations and stuff there. So I'm working with Elevator Yukon, chasing money to maybe try and implement the new seating and the renovations in the lobby and stuff. So, working on that project with them, and they're actually meeting with funding groups to research it for us.
That's exciting.
I do have one more thing.
Yep.
I was just wondering how it went at the funding meetup
Oh, yes,
on March 9th that you
Oh.
attended.
the worship can attest that I text them and saying that I figured it was a thorough waste of my driving time.
Oh, really?
But, that being said, it was advertised as 60 funding agencies gonna be there. I walked in the door, started at 9, I walked in at 1:45, and there was 20 tables set up in the room. And so then funders were starting to roll in, and I started going around, and there's City of Whitehorse. Well, what's City of Whitehorse gonna give us? Nothing. There was Sports Yukon, they're a nonprofit. So, and then there was U-Struck. So they were there to, but it was open to municipalities, citizens, whoever was looking for funding. Energy Solutions was in there flogging, you know, their better
I was
bills.
gonna say better build.
Municipal, like Whitehorse focus.
Well, yeah, more like that, and then, so Canmore was there, so I went over to talk to them, because they're our funder for the Northern Lights Center.
Yeah.
And I met with them earlier about, there was money for district heating, you know, that type of projects. So I went and met with him and I asked the question, he goes, no, can't help you, got everything, there's no money until after the federal budget, we don't know what it's gonna be. Okay, thanks. So and then there was apprenticeship branches there. They're not gonna help us with funding. So anyways, so they had each one of the presenters got 2 minutes to go up to the mic and say, you know, I'm Joe Schmuck, I'm from this, you know, this is what we're here to talk about. And the one young guy went up and he says, I'm so-and-so, and I'm with Yukon Development Corp. And he says, we're here, we have funding for renewable energy, that type of projects, green energy projects. He says, but I'm here for 20 minutes. Well, it's an all-day conference. So anyways, I had to leave because Shannon was dealing with the auditors and she needed me to call them. So I left and I came back and he was still there. So I went over and introduced him. Turns out the young fellow used to work with his dad. So introduced myself, told him what I was looking for. And he says, oh, well, we'll talk next week. I said, great. So I left thinking that I walked out of there with nothing. And before I left the city, he emailed me to say that we were eligible for $480,000. So that was a pretty good investment for me being there for maybe not even an hour.
Okay.
So that was good return on our money. So I'm dealing with him now to work that into our district heat stuff that we're.
Oh, right on.
So, yeah.
I suppose I have one last. Sorry. I noticed we got an email, from AYC, or I think it was, anyway, that the regular apprentice, applications are open again. And I was just wondering if that's something that we were thinking about taking on again, and what projects, if there were any, or if that's still too early. Yeah.
It's still too early because that email just came in Thursday, I think, and I haven't had a chance to look at it, or, you know, Tiffany's been away, so she's the one that ran that project last year. I know there was lots of good feedback, but I want to really talk to her before I put my hand up saying that something that we could do again.
Okay.
I know it took, the people that are here liked it, but I think I'm hoping that White's modified the rugged apprentice program based on the feedback that was provided to them after last year, and I don't know until I look at it.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Anything else?
I had thought of something, but I must have been coming with the budget stuff.
Okay. All right, one last item for the agenda today. Motion to adjourn.
One second. Wait, which one? I'll second that. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Councilor.
I'll second.
Councilor Burris, all.
Yes.